Whoops. Wow, I just crashed Keynote. Welcome. I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a calculator that can handle inches, yards, and feet. I guess yards, feet, and inches. And we've made some progress. We've got most of our basic operators working and our numbers working and a few other keys and the yard, feet, and inch keys. But we're talking about making a big change in how it represents things and how it evaluates the expressions. So the way it is now, as you go, it evaluates the expression. And so if you do 3 times 5 plus 4, it evaluates the 15 and then eventually evaluates the 19. But we'd like to do some things like editing, and we'd like a display that shows the whole equation and some other aspects we care about. And with that, the representation of doing it as you go is tricky. Like we have a backspace key we haven't implemented, and how do you backspace over an evaluation you already did? We don't have any mechanism for that. So we're going to do the major shift and see how that goes. All right, now I've got my handyman did not come today, so all these problems are mostly just some other random computer things, not related to that. All right, I've just run tests. All are green. So let's go look at calculator. It's got, now we have this notion of input, and we're basically, as we do things in either pendings or the operand stack, we adjust input to correspond. So when you append the digit, we append it to input as well. And as you, well, here's one for operators, right? Oh no, units, foot, inches, and so on. Yeah, sorry. Let's get this out of here. Well, okay, so where's another one? Well, here's operator. Okay, it worries about input and all that. Okay, enter switches over and produces a result. So, okay. Excuse me. Well, okay. First thing I think is, like, this is not, input is not super convenient for our purposes. If we think about backspace character, backspace key, you know, if I do 77 plus 3 and I decided that, oh no, that should have been a 4, I'd like to hit backspace and have the 3 go away. But if it was feet, I want to have the FT go away. So I think I want this to be an array of string and empty when it's, I can do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to make that an array of string, and then input, well, let's just do joined. Did I have to say separator? No, okay. I'll turn it back into a string when I want to display it. Okay, let's make it empty. So I'm going to put the individual strings in, so deleting becomes a much more straightforward process. Unit. All right, so if it has suffix, that meant that the previous thing was a unit, and we're trying to override it. But if it's not a string, it's an array, I guess if input last has suffix, I don't know what that will do. Yeah, Yeah. So let's rework that. Pending has suffix nothing. Okay. If input has suffix, okay. So if input dot count greater than 0 and input dot last, now we know it exists, ends with space. So if the previous one has a space on the end, meaning it's a, yeah, well, interesting. Yeah. Well, at some point we have to go back through it and turn it into a string. So stack's a little bit of a weird, isn't quite the right metaphor, I think. But it is a thing that, have to think on that one. I'm not sure what's going on wrong here. String has no member ends with. What did I start with? Has suffix. Oh, yeah. Went through this yesterday. Didn't stick. Okay, if the input, if there is some input and the last one is basically a unit, then we're going to input dot drop last is that going to work? I don't know if I'll have to work with the types there. I guess not. Okay, and then input dot append, that still is okay. Yeah, let me put this so I guess what we're doing right now is change input as string to array of string, and then a question, should input be a stack? And I think yeah, I'm going to defer that. That's what I'm doing, deferring. Okay, what else? Input equals string input dot drop last. That's what we just did. It does seem to have its own little pattern, though. You're right. Okay. Oh, keypad for these. I think I need to change that too. All right. Another problem. Okay, input equals that. All right. If I've done this right, this should just still work. Now, yeah, so what's that? What's the abstraction we're after? I mean, we're going to have our backspace key, so that will always work at the end. You could imagine wanting to, tap into it and just edit it as a string. All right, well, good. That shift input to be array of string, not string. All right. Okay. I set up that other computer just in case, and now I did some trial check-ins and stuff. I always forget that. And let's see. Stash changes. No changes. What do you do in this point? I meant to pull previous local changes. Okay, let's try that. The changes, one was a change in SwiftLint, and I don't know, probably to-do list or something. All right. So sorry, stash fetch pull. So I have to do that at the okay. Oh, I don't know, sometimes you just go in here. Okay. I don't know how to get him synchronized. All right. I guess something's still out of sync here. Well, that seems to have gone in. Okay, maybe the next check-in will catch it up. All right. So the good thing well, maybe this is, I don't know. It's very stack-like for sure, but because drop last is kind of like a pop, and there's sort of a check on the suffix, which is really, well, we were checking the top, I guess you'd say. I don't know. I think, all right, what operations? It's appending, it's checking its count is empty, it's checking its top. I mean, the only thing that's not is this. Well, this converts it to a single string, but kind of we're getting the input values. So what would we call that? It's kind of a, I mean, I don't want to expose contents out of stack. Yeah, I mean, if the stack is, well, I mean, join only works for string to string, right? If you join a regular, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's a generic thing. I don't know what it would do. Yeah, I mean, we can customize it. Let's try that. So let's make an extension on array, and then I don't know how to do this to be. Is it? Do I do this? I'm going to provide a public function joined. This is an extension on stack. Is that going to work? Okay. Let's do that then. This return, well, it's not input. What's our stack? Elements? Yeah. Elements.joined. Now that should kick in here. Okay. All right. That doesn't change anything because I haven't used it as a stack, but I think we can. It is very stack-like. And our editor, our primitive backspace key won't change that. All right. So now we're saying stack of string. Okay, this one's okay, but lots of other stuff. Okay. Do we have, I don't remember if we gave ourselves a clear. We did. Okay. Push, I believe, yep. This is not input is empty. Input dot top suffix input dot pop. What's our stack doing? It's returning element. The parens. Well, input last not equal nil is really the same as input is not empty, right? Okay, I think I did them all. Whoops. Oh, that's minor. Yeah. Last character equals. This is input dot top. I don't think this is needed. I'm not sure if our things are characters or strings. Okay. All right, well, that worked nicely. Yeah, thanks. All right, so change to a string to that. And now change input to be a stack of strings. Okay. Type the whole expression. All right. Now, Code Rush Party of 16. Wow. That's a first for me, I think. All right. Let's see. Welcome. All right. Let me just kind of share where we are and run this thing. So we're working on a calculator that works with yards, feet, and inches that a quilt maker or quilter or somebody who works in American linear measurements might use. And so one thing it'll do is conversion. So 55 inches equals, right now we just default to showing yards, feet, and inches. Eventually there's going to be a button that chooses what you want your display as. You can do arithmetic, 44 feet, 9 inches plus 3 inches equals. Okay. Thanks for popping in. All right. So what we've done so far is we have all the numbers, we have the yard, feet, inches, the clear, the 4 arithmetic operators, and equals. We haven't dealt with these two, or the parens, or the percent, or the slash, or memory. All right. So we had done this in a way that as you entered stuff, so 2 times 3 plus, at this point, our stack has already realized, oh, I can multiply 2 times 3, and we've multiplied and pushed that back on the stack. We know there's more coming, but we've done things as we go. And what I'm trying to do is shift, because, well, a couple of reasons. One, I'd like to have a backspace key that, I could hit it once and delete the 4 and hit it another time and delete the plus. So that's kind of one aspect. And then the other is I eventually want to have kind of, I don't know, like a paper tape, like some calculators have. It's not going to be paper, but let you roll back and see all the calculations you've done. And so we need a kind of representation of the whole equation or expression that they're typing. What we just did is we had this notion of input. We used to use pending and the operands and a result. Between the 3 of them, there's 3 places things could be. And pending was your editing string. Result was a calculated value, and operands is the expression as you're pushing it, as you're evaluating it. We're going to do a big shift. I might put this backspace key in first because it's probably easier than shifting these things. But we just made this thing, the input one. We decided it had enough in common with a stack that we made it a stack. We added one auxiliary method to join the elements back together and make the string again for it. Okay, so I think we will. One more refactoring little thing. We had these characters on keypad, and I think they're the wrong place for them. Backspace. These, we have an operators enum, and I don't know, maybe they belong there. So let me just make that as an advisory thing. Move keypad constants to operator. And I'm not quite sure that's right. Okay. So type the whole expression. We're going to push that off. We're still in a good state. We just have things going in parallel. The stacks being operated underneath, and the characters that you're doing appear to be right. Okay. But we're going to implement the backspace key. And with a calculator, it's pretty shallow as far as the structure, that you can kind of reach everything from the outside. So we've got an acceptance test level, system level test, and that thing lets us edit this. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to make the editing work, but the underlying stack is still wrong. That seems like a foolish thing to do. Okay, change plans. I do want a backspace key, but I'm going to wait. All right, let's go back to this. Typing the whole expression before it evaluates. All right, so the way it is now, every key triggers one of these methods. Like digit, you type a 7, you get digit. Type a 4, it's another digit. Type inches, it's a unit. And there's an operators for plus, minus, times, and there's the equals key. That's basically all you can do at this point. So what we added to handle this input is we made it work in parallel with the pending stuff. except that input never shrinks. Well, it can shrink by 1. I don't want to get into that, but in general, it doesn't shrink. The pending normally gets filled up and then converted to a constant, like 44 inches turns into a value once it's seen the whole expression. Okay. But in terms of evaluation, the stuff it does is, the actions it takes are what we need to do. Now, there's a weird thing, and I'm hoping to kind of get rid of that the values, notice what they do. The first thing they do is handle the last operator. And then if you go to operator, the first thing it does is encode the pending value. So it's a little weird, but what I think we have at this point, and I'm going to implement it in parallel. So this is kind of a piecemeal replace algorithm. What I want to do is, if I didn't do things this way as I went, the actions that happen, like pushing things on the operator stack or operand stack or operator stack, they need to happen still. But I think if I take the error checking out, is that true? I was kind of hoping to get rid of the need for that operators to talk about operands and operands to talk about operators. So when we have our stack, which I don't know if it's a stack or not, because we have a new operation we want to do, which is iterate through the elements and in order. And if it sees a number, well, it should be accumulating those. I'm going to try changing. All right. I'm going to split our stuff further. So right now we're appending to the input every time you hit a digit. And we're also hitting and appending to the pending field. I think the thing to do is we should wait, I think maybe encode pending value is the interesting moment for input. Like if I could come in and say, this thing is a value, that's kind of useful. All right. And from a string point of view, now from a delete character point of view, it's not as good. It's hard to balance these things. I mean, when I'm evaluating, I just want a value. I don't want to be editing it or any of that stuff. So maybe pending is still a thing. Okay, so let's do that. So what I'm proposing to do is move all this input stuff into encode pending value. Okay, so value.parse produces a value, right? So it's going to take 1 yard, 3 feet, 2 inches and turn it into a value structure. All right. But we also have the pending string. So I'm going to try and make the pending string be the thing we care about. All right. So pending, I'm going to take this out of here, input push, and this pop. I'm taking all the input stuff out of unit and digit. Okay. And now if pending is empty, return. Okay, then we don't want to do anything. Operands push parse value pending. I think Wow. Okay, for now, I'm going to do input dot push pending. All right, so I'm going to push the whole pending string. What I'm thinking is, though, that I probably should make this thing pick up the value, and maybe instead of a stack of operators, it should be a stack of values. It should know values and operators as separate things, not characters, maybe. All right, let's just see if this works. I think our tests are high level enough that they're not snooping around if it's character by character at that level. Apparently, I'm wrong. Oh, it is. Okay. Well, that's easily fixed. Are these? Okay. All right. So, I still have this intuition about that. It seems like I want to know this. All right. I'll tell you what. So I think the interesting point is going to be when you hit enter. At some point in here, you've evaluated. Okay, that stuff. Right. I think at this moment, enter is everything is pushed on the stack, and in effect, he's going to call evaluate, and then produce a result, and that's what gets displayed. I think this is the moment where I wish I could evaluate my string instead of that. All right, so we're going to do that. Let's call. I don't know. Evaluate 2 is stupid. But maybe it's a good temporary name. Okay. Evaluate 2 of input. And we'll just print. This is for us to know, because we're trying to substitute this big algorithm in the middle, and I don't have an evaluate. All right, let's make it up. Okay, so private func evaluate 2 takes input is a string, and it's going to produce a result. Result is a value. Okay, and now we want to take the string, and I guess well, the thing I expect to happen is every character in the input, every string in the input corresponds to something that happened here. So a digit, we know what a digit is. We know what a unit is, foot, yard, or inch. And we know what the operators are. So we should be able to detect each of those in that string and evaluate it. Okay. Input is a stack of string. All right. Now, this is again pushing me that it's not quite a real stack. It's not a queue exactly, but you are wishing to it's a stack for editing purposes, and it's a queue for reading purposes. So I don't know. I somehow want to do input dot elements. I don't think they're public enough to do that for each. All right. Okay, and then this 0, 9. Oh, yes, this is a command. Right. Gotta convert expression of time. Is elements public? I don't think it's. Oh, it's not private per se. Okay. Array of strings dot for each. Oh, I think it's my return value is thrown it off. Oh, did I? Oh. I thought we had checked that in. Oh, man. Okay. It'll go faster. All right. So we need an extension stack of string. And public func joined produces string and return elements dot joined. Okay. Sorry about that. Make you watch this twice. Yeah. Input dot top. I think we thought we could get rid of this. Right, that's fine. Okay. Make input be a stack, not array of string. What if I messed up here? What? I think something's still screwy today. What time? 1:42. Well, that seems right. I don't know about Xcode. I sure am. Let me reboot that. Maybe it is just Xcode, but that really is odd. Okay, that seems all right. Now, all right, let me take this out. Let's just, okay, switch must be exhausted. Okay, I gotta do something. In a case 0 through 9. All right, so what I'm saying I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull actions from digit. Okay, now handle operator. I don't think I need this. I don't think I need that part. Maybe I do. Okay, let's make our own pending. We're gonna take this pending append digit and see if I can make this fly the right way. All right. So var pending is empty. Okay. If you see a digit, we want to append to it. Pending dot append command. Okay. All right. And then unit is going to be the same. We're not going to worry about the dropping stuff because we've dealt with whatever that is, I think. But we have the equivalent of the append. And that's these four. Well, okay, they append. Now, okay, they may have to deal with the operator. All right. Oh, shoot, that's the wrong one. Append, and then it's our unit strings. Yard, foot, and inch. And I feel like we can clean up around the spaces and whatnot. Okay, so all those things append. Then we have this case. these operator characters. Well, what are they going to do? They're going to encode pending value. I'm going to inline that. I don't think we'll need to check, but we will need to push the operand. Okay, so they're going to do that value. And then what else can happen, right? We got digit, well, there's clear is not evaluating involved in that. So digit, unit, and operator. Okay. So that's the encode pending. Then I don't think everything should be. If last input is empty, last character goes input to top. So I think the part I have highlighted, I think, is part of that editing stuff. Okay. So this input.push. Oh, wait a minute. Where's the actual? Oh, the evaluation doesn't happen there. Wait a minute. Right. It was handle operator. Okay. So, okay, you hit an operator. See, I think operators are more standalone. Okay. So we make an op and we do this and we push. I think these are the right thing. Okay. So in this case, we're accumulating pending and clearing it. And then we go into the operator stuff. So we'll build the operator, evaluate everything with insufficient precedence, and push the operator. This is command. I don't know what he's on about. Okay. Make a command, make the operator, evaluate it, and push for the operator. All right. And then if input into last. Right. Okay. I think that's. I catch John rarely. I enjoy it, but it just doesn't always happen. All right. So I think that's somewhere we have to clean off the stack, and that was down here. Right. Okay. And default is break. Value at least 0. Okay, so we've handled all the stuff. Let me shut this argument up. Okay. Case statement should align vertically with their enclosing switch. Okay, I guess he's behind. We evaluate the stuff, and then at the end, you have the last couple operators that might not be evaluated yet. I think you have to do these two things. I don't know. I may revert all this. So what I think we've done, it's going to go a little nuts at the back. Okay, so Nothing should hurt anything. You know, the thing I could do is I could take these. I don't even know if I need 2 stacks. I guess I do. All right, let's put these in evaluate 2. So rather than fighting my way through interfering with each other, these are 2 separate evaluations completely. Okay, now I think I'm there. Okay. These 2 go outside. Okay, so I think, whoops. Oh, sorry, that was this. I return the expression of time. How did I take it there? Oh, result equals operands.pop. Okay. We'll take a trial run here. It's doing its own evaluation on the input string with its own pending and its own operator stack and its own operand stack. So I think it's operating independently. It should just be okay. I got a feeling I screwed something up, but we'll see what happens. So we'll run all the tests. Probably should just run it as well. Okay, nobody failed. That's a good thing. Now, how do these do? Do we print anything? Okay, we're printing values. However, we don't know what the other side printed, so we can't tell. But we can do a run. Yeah, I mean, it was mostly copying and pasting, but there was some thinking in there. So 77 inches plus, let's see, 72 inches is 2 yards, so 5 inches. So 7 should be 6 yards 1 foot equals yeah, I did screw that up. 77 inches plus 7 inches equals 2 yard 1 foot. Okay. I got to find a way to do this. Yeah, the no value found. All right. Okay, we got those 3. Let's do a clear. 77 inches equals. Okay, yeah, something's off. All right. So what's going on? Okay, if I take this out, $77 inches equals 2 yards 5 inches. I meant this one. 2 yards 5 inches. Inches 77. That's actually correct. Internally, everything is just inches, so the value only has the inches. The formatter, if we applied the formatter to it, it would show it the right way. So at least that part's okay. So 77 inches plus 7 inches equals 2 yards 1 foot, inches 7. So he lost the first half. Okay. Well, I got to do this more cleanly to make this work. I guess I'll think what I've got here a minute and just make sure it didn't do anything that completely sounds off. Okay, so digits and units, we just keep appending them. And then once we hit an operator, we parse what we have for pending and push that on the stack. That seems correct enough. It'd be nice to do it here, but you can't. All right, then we find the operator, make a command, evaluate it with that precedence, and push the operator. Right, so 77 plus, we evaluate the 77, we push the plus, okay, then we get 7. We've cleared out pending here, so we do 7, okay, and, equals, okay, equal says, whatever's in pending, that's the last operator, so push that. So that's the 7. Evaluate. Evaluate's working on the wrong thing. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to rename this enter 2. Okay. What I want to try is this needs to work on our stuff. This is working on the global or the field level operators. We want to work on the local one in our evaluation thing. So I'm calling this enter 2 just to not confuse it with evaluate. We're due for a break. So we'll take a break, 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll come back, duplicate this function to work with our stuff, with a new one, and then do it. So what happened is we were talking about the other stack that had a 7 on it still. That's why we're seeing something there. All right. So yeah, let's take that break real quick. And if replicating evaluate doesn't do it, I'm going to revert the chunk of this and either take a different approach or try again a little more carefully. All right. But for now, we'll take that break. All right. See you in a few minutes. Break. All right. Welcome back. Okay. I want to do this. Let's take this. I'm going to inline that here. Is that true? I either had to pass in all the arguments, all the arrays, or inline it. Is it recursive? I don't think so. No. Okay. So evaluate precedence is this. Okay. And then down here, oh, I guess I should take that out. Okay, and that's 0. All right. So in our tests, mostly we're just not blowing up, but in our manual work, we want it to be correct. Now, I don't know if these are right or not. So yeah, we can't judge from that. But at least we haven't blown up the stack or popped too much or anything like that. All right, 77 inches equals, that should be fine. 77 inches plus 7 inches should be 2 yards, 1 foot. Okay, inches. So 77 plus 7 is 84. Okay, I'm feeling good there. All right, now, okay, so we haven't dealt with this. Well, I guess, is that what we're worried about? Okay, I think trying to think the best way to get this out of there. So now enter 2 of input is the result I would expect here. Okay, whoops. Evaluate at least 2. Okay, and then I'm going to override that result and say result equals enter 2 of input. Okay, so now I'm taking this one out, and I'm saying everywhere where I evaluate to get a result, I'm going to do that here. The operands is empty. Oh, I think I'll come back to that. All right. Just to be quiet. All right. Well, I think we know that. Okay, so now I run it. I'm actually putting myself at risk in the sense that this calculation from input is totally overwriting the result that we calculate. We're still calculating the old way. And there may be a corner case on the like empty stack or something like that that can happen. Okay. One failing test. Enter without pending uses 0. Huh. Okay, that's that conditional. All right. I think that is this conditional. So let's replicate that. Okay, so if we come in with nothing, we push value parse.pending. which is an empty string. Operators are empty, so we don't do that. We just pull that value back. Let's just check if it's empty, no value found. Is that what we returned? Okay, that is. Interesting. Okay. Let's catch that at the beginning. So if input is empty, so nobody did anything, we're just going to return value number 0 to correspond to what happens in the other case. Okay. Excuse me. All right. Wow. Well, one little glitch in terms of not calling that right evaluate function, but otherwise, I'm happy here. Evaluate we do inside our method. So I'm going to take this bit out and should still pass. Okay, these assertions, yeah, they're not so relevant here. Okay, because we're going to get rid of operands and operators in current form. All right, let's commit this. So switch computation to come from the whole input string rather than piecemeal pushing on the stack. All right. Now, okay, so I'm going to clean out this and this. And I think at this point, nobody should be using, well, let's take operators first. Okay, so this whole thing goes away. Oh, well, let's see. Is it gone already? Find usages. Handle operator still uses it. Okay. But operators is gone, then this doesn't make sense. Okay. Next place. Operations.clear. Operators.push. Okay, so I'll just clean them out as I can. This function now is empty. Let's delete it. Now we still have one inside our evaluate method, and I'll promote that later, but we're getting rid of the duplicate stacks. All right. The unneeded operands stack. All right, now things should be getting simpler. Pending. Okay. Handle operator. Well, no one uses the operator anymore. Unit. All right, now this one, this is deleting it from pending if it should be edited out. Handle operator. Let's flip the logic a little bit. If not last is empty, then clear it. Okay. Same thing there. Or yes, yeah, exactly. So it is still, the editing is still handling this last operator thing, but gosh, I don't know. It still feels to me like input should just deal with it. Right? I mean, I think all we're doing. Let me take it from the topish. Okay, handle operator. We're saying if you start typing and if there is a last operator, then we should. I don't know. I mean, operator is going to push the string onto input. I mean, I feel like input and pending and all that are just like redundant again. Okay, so pending pushes a digit, input pushes a digit. Pending with 2 units in a row, and this is sort of the smart editing to it. Either way, we're popping off the last unit before we append it back on, and then that happens. Okay. encode pending value doesn't put it anywhere. It just clears the pending. I'm going to bounce to hours. The pending gets cleared here. This is our local pending, but I don't think that does anything anymore. Let's keep going. Yeah, I think the input elements, I think they control it completely. All right, let's see. Make sure operator is the same. Okay, operator encodes pending value. Well, we do that same action here. We force the parse and then push the value. Okay, so I don't think that's doing anything. This is dealing with lastOperator. Okay, if the input is not empty, and basically if it's an operator and we're about to override an operator, then we put it back on. It feels to me like all that stuff is redundant. So I'm going to try. Well, who looks at this pending? Maybe that's the question. Okay. Already entering new number. I might be willing to give that up. That's the thing that makes it italics when you're just typing a number. But now you've got the whole expression there. You can see that you're still in the section where you're typing a number. So I don't really care about that one. Reset set. Who's looking at it? Yeah, the only place looking at it. Oh no, this one does. Well, the only reason that one is to trim it, so it's editing itself. Nobody else is looking at it. I don't think we need pending. Already entering number. I'm just going to say false for a minute here. Now that should break somebody. There's like, no? Okay. I guess we only had visual tests for that. Yeah, we couldn't get to the font. I remember that now. Okay, so this thing, I'm going to find usages and take it out. Okay, already entering number. You're gone. Yeah, it was only the display, and we tried various ways to get at the font and figure out if it was an italics font, and we could not. So, the only time we checked it was to make sure it was off. Okay, resets display. For clear, resets display to 0. That seems legit. And then this italic thing, we don't need anymore. Okay, so I'll run it real quick, but I think, yeah, now we're getting all regular text. Nothing unexpected there. All right. So let's remove check for italics. Then in calculator, I don't think anybody needs pending. Do I get a warning? No. And honestly, I don't think I should need it because everything's happening on the input now. Pending. That's it. All right. Okay, I guess I'll kill these comments. This function can go. This can go. All right. We're shrinking down again. That's a good sign. All right. Now, do we need lastOperator? Who references that? Okay. It's on the left. It's on the left. Handle operator. Handle. Nobody's really referencing it. Let's make sure what handle does. It kind of sets it. I'm pretty sure this guy can go too. Again, because we put our input in parallel with that, I think that should be the same. Okay. I think this one is really, this one needs to be different. This one does not. This one is really asking about the input. If input dot last, no, how do I want to say this? This is catching that thing where you type just 3 plus equals. And the approach I took was saying, well, you can't have an operator last. You got to have an operand. So if input, I guess if input dot is empty is false. And is operator input dot last dop. Okay, if input is not empty and input.top is an operator, which is not defined, but we used it at least a couple times, so this. Is last char really a string or is it a... Okay, it is. Okay. All right, so that's the helper function. Missed one. There it is. Oh, test trailing. Okay. 9 times equals. Expression can't end with an operator. Okay, so let's break here. $9. Input is not empty. Is operator is, do I have it backwards? Should be a star. Oh, yeah, that's a bad test. Or it shouldn't be a star by the time it gets down here. It should be an X. Right, this one is working directly with stars. Well, this should really be keep, add, multiply. Keep, add, multiply. All right, kill those breaks. That one should pass, but there were other tests. Our acceptance test substitutes in this correct character. But these, they need to use the real operators. Okay, plus, 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 plus. Okay, let's make sure that's good. All right, more cleanup. Okay, so last operator. Okay. Now, I think I can promote these. Let's see. Formatter, we have a result and input. I do think this deserves its own thing. There's enough going on. It's very stack-like. Okay, now you got result and input. That's the only two things you manage. Input digit unit overwrites the last unit. is operator overwrites the last operator. Enter 2. Well, this is really this is really evaluate. Okay. Now I want to pull these up. Okay, so what's flipping through my head is this is a very self-contained thing. If I pull these up, operands and operators are going to be active while we're accumulating stuff, but they don't do anything at that point. So we have a lifetime mismatch, which tells me they really are kind of different things. Yeah, I think evaluate should be its own class. Maybe it's like expression.evaluate. Give it one of these inputty things, which we'll give a new name in a minute here. Let's do that. Okay, so public class expression just by itself. It has this. I better make that public. Evaluate. All right, somebody should be complaining. Here we go. This is expression.evaluate input, which I think we'll do for now. Expression. Okay. I don't know. One thing I'm thinking is like input. See, I want to pull those fields up so they can cooperate with each other, and so I'm thinking maybe not. All right, so let's push this. Create new expression class. All right. Now this thing. Okay, I do want to change that. If the input is empty, return a value. All right, operands. I see. I want these to come up. I'm going to try and simplify this thing somewhat. Okay. Pending. We've got this that we duplicated out, so I'm going to extract that. Let's make a variable out of this. Oh. A variable. I'm going to inline it in a moment. So push the operator. It's really that while statement is what came in originally. Okay, so let's make a method. This is evaluate up to, we'll work on the naming. Okay, and then operator, the while loop here, well, let's inline this. And we don't need that. Okay, and now this loop is evaluate up to 0. What did we call that thing before? It has a better name. This is it's actually above, I think was what we settled on, right? Evaluate above, no. It's greater than or equal to, at least. And this is it's a precedence, I guess. Okay, at least. Was it evaluate precedence? Do you remember? I can go back in. Evaluate at least precedence. Well, that's over. Okay, I think that's all right. Okay, evaluate at least 0, evaluate the operator precedence, and then push. Okay. Make sure that's all still compiling. What is the name for this stack? All right, let's pull out expression. It's got plenty of work. I can still shorten it some, I think. But we'll make a new class. Okay. And then the other one I want to do, well, I'd kind of like to make you just make a new one of these for each input rather than worry about the stuff being around. So let's make a var input of stack of string. Well, I don't need those two because they're already defined. Okay. Right. Okay, now I'm going to take it out here. And on the call site, expression of input dot evaluate. Okay, and I don't need that label. Yeah, I tend not to make things static on these new classes because it just seems like a thing that just goes away so quick. Sometimes I need truly static stuff, but this is okay. That loop's not terrible. Okay, if you get digits or units, you just push them, or you append them to the pending stuff. If you get operators, you push the pending value, and then evaluate the operator and push it. Or evaluate existing stuff on the stack and then push. And then at the end, we've got a value. We've got whatever's in pending for that last argument. And evaluate the whole stack. And then the last one is it. Okay. I'm liking that okay. Operators is the stack. Okay. Well, it's not empty and precedence is high enough. So 5 times 3 plus 4, the 5 times 3 has to get done. Or if it's 5 plus 3, it's associative, so the first one should be done. We'll push, pop it, push. Okay. Yeah, I think the only thing I don't like is calling this a stack. I don't have a great name. Let's see, the things we're doing to it. Well, one thing is we're walking over elements, so we're sneaking in and accessing something that really should have been private. Let me make these public. Okay. All right. So, all right. So we moved the expression to its own file. Then we pulled fields out, extracted, evaluate above. At least. No, I don't think you do. If you set the precedence, it's either the lowest or the highest. I think it's the lowest. I think if your left parent is the lowest precedence, then when you do that evaluate at least, it's not going to be higher precedence than the operator. So the existing operators will get flushed out, but you won't go below it, I don't think. We'll see. But if I remember my parsing and compiler stuff enough, I think that is true. I left a gap for that reason. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but and so you have the left parend. You don't evaluate past it until you get a right parend, which will match and evaluate, and hopefully that keeps you from having to do that. We'll see. Often the vision I have of how it's going to work is not necessarily what we end up with here, as you know. Okay. Well, this thing is nicer. This name is still getting me, but I don't know the name for it. So it's mostly a linear sequence. The reason pop is there is, I mean, maybe it is a kind of DAC. Because I want to, basically the pop is there because that's our backspace. And if you delete something, I'm sorry, if you have a unit and you put in a new one, this pop is really like delete, you know, it's the backspace that we're going to be implementing. So what is that thing? It's maybe it's okay. I mean, you're adding stuff to the end, you're popping off the end, you never pop out of the middle, and you do iterate through it going forward. And I thought we had one more thing that did something with it. This almost... Oh yes, we joined. I mean, deck is a very generic name. If I had a better name for it, I would take it. I mean, it's an... Is it a capital I input? You could imagine a better editor, right? You could imagine taking your finger and dragging across stuff. I mean, real calculators, physical calculators don't do that, but a virtual one could. Deck input. Yeah. We clear it. We don't ever add to the front, so that makes it weird for a deck. Because usually you manipulate both ends, but really what we care about is like going forward. Maybe it is an input. I don't know. Let's find a thesaurus. Input buffer. I could almost go for that. Oh, antonym is a blockage. Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna say input buffer because they kind of act that way. You append stuff to them as you get it, but then at some point you iterate from the front of the buffer to do its thing. So let's try that. Okay, so public class input buffer. All right. And we could imagine a buffer that allowed other editing. So he definitely has some stacky things. Well, let's make it the same for a moment. Calculator. Okay. Right now he's the same. And let's make this input buffer. I guess I can put it down below. Okay. Cannot infer. Right. We don't need it to be element. Isn't this a struct? Oh. Okay. Input, right, that should not. So let's change it to input buffer. Now, is everybody happy? No. Well, cannot Okay, expression once. And I think it's legitimately a buffer because we're doing that editing stuff on it. So that's cool. Let's make it generic. I mean, let's not make it generic, and make it only work with strings, because I don't think it's a super general concept. I don't really need an extension for this. Okay. Input buffer. Let's rename this to string. And take that off so it's really string. Okay. This loses its stringiness. Okay. Okay, now these names is empty, fine. Top, I think that should be last. All right, push is, well, this is remove last. Yeah, maybe add. I don't know if it should be add last. I guess not, if we're just adding. Okay. Clear joined. All right. Now, can I do better on these questions? Input is empty, do something. Input ins. Yeah. Yeah, good idea. I mean, I'm curious what people are doing here. This, okay. I don't like having to check it all the time. So input is empty and input.last. Yeah. I don't know. Would as string be more swifty of a name? I don't know. This thing. Again, this is put it empty and Well, last sure I can inline this. And then we had is operator somewhere here. All right, this is... to expression. No, that join string is really the display stuff. Yeah, I don't know if there's a convention. Yeah, I'm still bugged with this. Input last has suffix. I mean, if I gave a predicate, could I do that? Input dot not empty and is operator. Input dot last. I want to say remove if and then pass in this the function. Okay, let me try that. And I think these are both conditional. Yeah. Okay, they're both that same case. So let's say remove if. If. Okay. Oh, you gotta let it go. Okay, so we remove if, and now I'm going to say don't do it if the input is empty. Okay, so if it's empty, there's nothing to do. So if is empty, return, and then remove last. Okay, that should be... I haven't put the if in there, the condition in there yet. Oh, I don't care what the result is. Okay, we're pop. You kind of do. All right. All right, so we're going to give it input.last. Has suffix is Boolean and string. This one is a Boolean. Okay. I guess he takes nothing? Okay, so remove if it's a function taking... I guess it's taking a string and returning Boolean. condition. Right now people should be complaining. Okay. Remove if $. Has suffix and I can just pass this operator. I don't need these parens. I hope it looks better like that. It returns nothing, so we don't do that anymore. We're not using it. Did I say capital or lower? Oh, okay. All right. If it's empty, return. Otherwise, yeah, that might be a good thing too. All right, let's put the conditional in though. If condition of last, then remove. I don't know if that's better in one line, not as empty. And condition of last, remove if. Again, that should be okay, yeah. All right, now I should be able to take this out. Remove, I think remove last if. Okay, and then remove last if this. Okay, and this, yeah, let's extract that to, how about extract method? No. Okay. I'm going to pull these up. And they're not. This space thing has bugged me a bit. Why is there a space? Because it's looking for this space. But I do want it because it does look good, but it makes this awkward. All right, let's make sure that all works. Okay. Let's pull this file. I guess he's more utility, isn't he? New file. Input is empty, last, add, remove last if clear. Those all do happen. Okay. But I think, oh no. Okay, let's make sure this works. All right, now I want this private. Now I had put off making iterable collections too long. Elements is inaccessible, yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to have to look up Swift make collection iterable. Yeah, do I define make iterator? Is that the deal? Declare next. I feel like there's an easier way. I guess I want to say I'm a sequence and I do that. Then I have to provide a whole iterator. I don't want to do my own. Okay. Yeah, I really should do something with that. I feel like there's a moment where you know what you have, and it probably is in expression, or maybe maybe this thing shouldn't be strings inside. I don't know. Now I'm arguing that an input buffer should not contain strings, so we made it non-generic. Yeah, I mean, if the buffer knew that, yeah. Yeah, I don't really like just grabbing types, but I mean, that's what I want here, right? I would like this stuff to be kind of generic. And same thing on the operators, right? We got all that stuff about operator. It would be nice if we just attached that to the enum that knew that it was an operator and it could give us the precedence and all that. So I feel like there's just a little more to do here. Let's get this sequence thing first. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you're not going to tell me how. All right. I have to provide make iterator. And I'm going to return elements.make iterator. And his type is, it told me a moment ago, elements.make iterator, indexing iterator of array of string. Oh, well, am I public? I guess I can do that. Oh, and this should no longer be elements. Okay, well, for all my whining, that wasn't that hard, was it? Make input buffer iterable. All right, let's see what we're on to do. Type the whole expression. Yes, we've done that. We eliminated pending. Last operator in calculator. We introduced expression and input buffer types. Okay. And we did not implement backspace, none of this other stuff. I do notice we have had no purple complaints today at all. So I would say we actually successfully did that. Sorry, hiccups. So take this. No purple errors today, so we're assuming we've fixed it. Okay. I'm going to stop here. I want to capture that suggestion, though. Introduce an enum for the types of elements like number or operator. I want to come back to that. We may try and implement backspace and do that first. All right. I think given the time, I don't want to start it because it's kind of end of the week here, at least as far as me broadcasting. We did a pretty substantial change there. It was maybe a step too big, but it did kind of work out. I did have to go back and get that evaluate function. Boy, I probably should do that 3 more times on my own just to get that thing smooth. But once we put that in, it worked. So I guess we weren't that far off. All right. We have our calculator as far as we have it right now. Very similar to where we were. We'll get this backspace done because I think it's in the same area. I think maybe the parens we're about due for. And so let me get those kind of high up here. Parentheses. Actually, I still like this one. Well, yeah, maybe we'll maybe we'll swap this around. I think some of these things that we had left over, they are good things. I mean, you could get a negative number now. We don't display it properly. Underflow, overflow. Yeah, we still haven't worried about that. Okay. I don't know. I have this tension between pushing forward and to a new feature and then really bulletproofing or kind of finalizing another one. But I think, we accumulate ideas. I don't want to get too far ahead, even though I'd rather add a feature, but we got to make sure stuff is really safe. All right. Well, it's coming along. I mean, I thought this would be a shorter project than it's turned out to be, I'll admit. But I think we're making decent progress and a couple largish unexpected refactorings in the last week, but I think they were all worth it. Okay, thanks for joining MudShark666. I don't know if anybody is still left over from the raid, but thank you for coming as well. Hope I catch you in the future. Have a good weekend. I'll be back Monday, 2 to 4:30 Eastern Daylight or 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC. All right, take care. Bye-bye.